Hey guys, Kempy here from Queensland Solar and Lighting, and we're going to do a bit of a solar panel review today, this time for a brand called AE Solar. It stands for Alternative Energy, apparently. AE Solar Panels review. And so went and seen some customers yesterday, some potential clients, and they're like, oh, Kempy, we've seen this panel, we definitely want it. It's German. I said, okay. I said, all the panels are from China. He said, no, I want this AE solar panel. I said, AE solar? He goes, yeah, from Germany. I said, is it Alio? Because I remember Alio was a panel from Germany. And he said, no. And of course, I was famous for selling the solar watt panel here in Brisbane, the real German panel, as Alio was as well. And it wasn't that, and I said, what is it? But then, of course, they left Australia a couple of years ago. And I jumped on, and sure enough, there is a panel called AE Solar Panels. I said, honestly, I've never heard of it. I've never come across AE Solar. So what I did is I gave Blue Sun, my wholesaler, a buzz. And I said, hey, mate, AE Solar, what do you know about this thing? And he goes, oh, yes. They bought in by One Stop, a big, how do I say, wholesaler, and they're only sold exclusively, apparently. And I said, oh, that would make sense. And he said, yeah, they're made in China. And I said, oh, well, this could look like it's a cheap kind of panel, because the solar what I was getting was made in Germany. Alio panel was made in Germany as well. So yeah, so what happened is I went looking, and the panel that actually got quoted on was a 415 watt. Here it is here from One Stop. Maybe I could potentially ring them up and get this panel, but I was told that they're only selling it exclusively to a couple of companies or something. As I read back here, they did a thing with PV Magazine in 2022 where they actually launched into Australia here, and that was only 2 years ago. So we've just had the 2024 All Energy. So thought that was quite interesting, and they did that with One Stop, where they're still coming from now at the moment. Maybe they had them for 2 years and they couldn't move them one-on-one. I'm not sure. But I'm not sure what the story is there. Axitech is another panel that's apparently German and made in China. I sell that. It's a very comparable thing. From what I'm seeing here, I can't see much. What actually intrigued me, I said, well, is it a good panel? Like the solar watt was a proper, incredible dual glass panel made in Germany. And it turns out that the panel is a 415 watt P-type, half cell P-type, which is an old technology, which you can nearly not get the old Jinko Trina P-types anymore. So I thought that was a bit strange. It wasn't even N-type. Then I jumped on the Alio Solar's website, and they in fact do have an N-type. They do have that, which I believe was not the Aurora. That must be the one the Australians have. Yeah, they've got the here Meteor N-type, but that's not the one that is being pushed by One Stop here. So I'm not sure if they have other AE Solar. No, they don't. They've just got that one, the bifacial P-type panel. Interesting. And then, but they've definitely got it. Maybe they make it in Germany for the German market or something. So then I was thinking, why would you buy an AE solar panel if they've got no office in Australia for backup support? And Solar Choice, a website, solarchoice.net.au, actually say the same thing. The company's yet to set up a local office and support team and currently distribute their products through One Stop Warehouse, as is still current in June 2024. So they're a tier 1 panel, which means they're a somewhat reputable panel. I'm not too sure exactly what tier 1 means, but generally the larger companies that aren't just... For example, I used to sell a panel when I first started 14 years ago for as a salesman for a boss, and his company name, the panel name we used was called German Solar, and it was Chinese as anything. Just the name was German Solar. Something like that would never be tier 1. It's just a pop-up rebadged panel type of thing, meaning they got their own tier 1 ranking. That means AE Solar are not cheap or anything like that, where their panel might be an older inferior technology to the newer N-type panels that Jinko, Trina, Canadian, the whole lot are doing. Even AE Solar themselves are doing. They're just not the ones sold here in Australia for the time being. I believe, as president, which I could find out in the market when I went looking to wholesalers, couldn't find it. Yeah, this says here, solar choice. Currently, AE Solar only offer one bifacial solar panel in the Australian market, which is suited to larger scale ground mounted projects. I'm not sure who wrote that, but I wouldn't. It's just a residential 415 watt house. For example, we're now doing 440, 450 watt panels on the houses, and an N-type as well. P-type you can still get. They're just a bit older. Price per watt retail 52, 54, so they're not even that expensive. But yeah, it's interesting. They offer a 30-year warranty, which is interesting. Which is, equivalent to what Jinko has. Just goes on to say that cons. No office or project history in Australia, and bifacial solar panels are generally not suitable for residential customers. So there you go. That's where they're getting that from. Where they're saying it was a commercial panel. Bifacial just means that, there's no light underneath the panel when you install it on a tiled roof or a tin roof on a house. They're more for standing up in commercial solar farms. High output performance, well, no different to any other really. 415 watt P-type half cut system. Just a very typical run-of-the-mill panel made in China. So I guess AE Solar have their name on it. They're not in Australia. That doesn't mean that they're doing good support for One Stop, and forever will be doing good support for One Stop, and don't plan on expanding. Some players come into the game small like this over a few years. 3 or 4 years later, they're one of the number one. Look at Longy. I actually bought Longy solar panels into Australia, introduced them to Australia in 2016. 4 or 5 years later, they were the number one selling solar panel here in Australia. So, or one of the biggest, like top 3 definitely. Actually, there was a time that they were number one. Yeah, so that's what's going on. It's interesting. So, yeah, AE solar panels, they definitely look like they do a good job, and they got good stuff. It's just that in Australia you might want them to have a few more runs on the board in terms of what they're offering, and potentially ask, how is that Australian support going? Like I said, could be amazing. They just don't have the volume, I guess, to really have a full-time office. But hey, these things don't break in 2, 3, 4 years, panels. You're generally starting to see poor panels, and at least need a panel warranty in 5 years, 6 years if it's a bad panel. An inverter can break any day of the lifespan. You can install it, the very best inverter, something like a Growatt or a Fronius inverter. The next day it breaks. That's just how it is. like with any appliance, I guess. But the thing is, you want the support straight away. Panels generally don't fail like that. Takes a while. So these guys can get away with running under the radar, I guess. They're definitely under my radar, and as you can see, I'm a solar veteran guru, and they were exclusive to One Stop, who then made them exclusive to just a few solar retailers, it appears. So of course they're not even going to be hounding me, cold calling me, saying, "Hey, we've got a German panel," which is the equivalent of an Axitec panel. So it's not German, but they would definitely love. These things are easy to sell because you just say they're German.